Just very quickly on the idea for the animation style, the notes that you have, the layout, once you have the brainstorming and using some of the thumbnail ideas or that concept, then it breaks itself up into this selection here with the storyboards, which is uh, attributed to Disney and a number of the animators that they say have used it, and then film producers and directors have used it, and they say that Alfred Hitchcock would have. These are a couple storyboards they say from the Birds, where they would almost treat it like a graphic novel, comic strip at the day, comic book, and graphic novels kind of take the same concept with it. And so the myth is the legend that he used this for all the shots that he had in his for his movies, different artists that would come through to do that. But again, this is the idea of the storyboard graphically sketched out, rough ideas, trying to clean them up as they go through. I think I have a couple samples of this one. This is just the one with Disney animation. And this is Dumbo kind of going through the whole process. And you can see the illustrations are pretty elaborate even for the small sketch. These are thumbtacked up on the wall. And as the story progressed, this is a picture with Disney actually having the story up on the boards as well, so they could flip and rearrange them if necessary, but trying to really tell the whole story as a booklet form to get that out there. So when you take a look at it, the reason is that they have it all mapped out, saves them time, saves them the cost of putting together the whole animation or the film, and everything isn't wasted as far as the production part, which is pretty expensive. So they try to map it out or plan everything out ahead of time. And that's the same concept of going in with the thumbnail sketches and stuff to build this up, so you can see pretty accurate. If they had the stage film or that type of thing to set it up, they can pretty well capture this and save them some. At least everybody's on the same page, even the actors, directors combined. So just to kind of go over the framing you did yesterday with the animation of the ball, you had two keyframes. Nothing really moved or jumped in the middle, just kind of rolled across. But the in-between, or they would be called the in-between illustrators. They became nicknamed the tweeners. They were the ones that were aspiring to be the animators for the keyframes, that type of thing, the lead animator, and putting that together so that the beginning and ending action would be drawn, and then they would do all the in-between drawings, thinking. And remember, this animation is 24 frames per second, so it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of the drawing to show that elapsed feeling of motion to go into that. So that's giving you those pieces. Just kind of briefly touching up on these file formats, MP3 player and the movie player for MP4. Same group that came out of this. See if I have it listed up here for you to take a look. Give this a little bit of a light color here. So just kind of zoom in this selection piece here. So just kind of bring the stuff. The MP3 was just the compressed file of music used for this type of thing, for the animation, for the sound files, for the listening devices that you had, and the MP4 was the part that put together the combination with the film and the movie, made a lot of the digital compressions happen. The PNG file, JPEG, and GIF, those are the three files that are readily used and accessible for the internet. Small, they're lost. Information is lost when they're compressed. So once they're compressed down, you can't go back. And that's why if you do something like this, these three file formats from a Photoshop or an Illustrator, always having your native file format of the software, which is the Illustrator and PSD for Photoshop, so that you can always go back. You're working at the highest resolution and then breaking it down to get to the smaller file sizes for that piece. And this is an example. So the PNG was the latest one that came out, and they were able to create it so there would be a transparent file just showing the pixels back behind that for that style. JPEG was the joint photographic group, and the GIF is graphic user interface. They had four initials, but when they went over to the PC side, that's when they had the three-letter extension on there to give you that piece. And Photoshop has the TIFF image, and the TIFF image is a compressed Photoshop file, and that allows them to use that in other applications. People can still look at it, but the PDF file came out after that allowed everybody to be able to see it. You didn't need any special software like Illustrator or graphic software, Photoshop. And everybody can see the PDF file, so the portable document file came up. And just since we're doing the images with the file sizes or the drawings, just put it up with the kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte. And the latest one I haven't used is the, I think it's petabyte, not sure. But the GIF was also when they did the animation GIFs that were just about 3 frames that you'd see popping up. A little bit of SpongeBob doesn't have the animation there, but that's the piece. But again, here's the style. Let's see if this will show. So the PNG file, portable network, this allows for the transparency, and it's compressed. JPEG, same idea, is that it has the lossy graphics, so you're going to lose some of the information. And this part where it's joint photographic group, they were the ones that, expert group is really how it's spelled out. The acronym is just shortened, losing the letter E. And the GIF, same idea as the graphic user interface. Photoshop is the one that you'll work with mostly in that piece with all the different layers, and the TIFF is the one that's going to use and keep those layers. So if you open that up in Illustrator or Photoshop, it still contains some of those layers for that piece, and then the portable document file for the PDF. So just trying to give you some of those terms. So as you come across them and you hear them thrown around there, at least you have some of the connection with their definition to it, and also with their look of the icon there.